Welcome everybody to a review of the limited edition indicator release of 1947's The Shop at Sly Corner. So this was actually requested to be reviewed via CD Specialist 1, who requested it via my recent update video as I went through a bunch of the indicator films that I bought on a sale. I bought 16 other ones from them. So if you'd like to see me review any of the films behind me or on my Letterboxd collector list or anything that was in that recent update video, then do give me a shout as I will review what I've not reviewed before. So yeah, this was directed by George King, one of two films I actually bought on that sale from him. But beforehand, before that sale, I have actually seen 6 of his other films, as he did 6 of the 8 Todd Slaughter films, which we've reviewed before. They were done by Indicator as well. 3 favourites from him out of those 6 would be Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, The Face at the Window, and Crimes at the Dark House. So this is a crime film, clocking in at 91 minutes long. Stars Oscar Homolka, who was also in Sabotage from Alfred Hitchcock, Mr. Sardonicus from William Castle, as well as The Executioner and 2 of the Harry Palmer films alongside Michael Caine in Funeral in Berlin and Billion Dollar Brain. The 3 films in the Harry Palmer series in the 60s are, for my money, some of the more underrated spy films from that period. Unfortunately, the 2 TV ones from the 90s, also starring Michael Caine, are pretty rubbish, but those 3 from the 60s are pretty great. I'd love to see a box set of those, quite frankly, at some point. But yeah, also stars Derek Farr, who was in Town on Trial. Diana Dawes, this is her debut film role. She went on to star in the likes of The Weak and the Wicked, Yield to the Night, both of which were directed by J. Lee Thompson, as well as From Beyond the Grave. And finally, Kenneth Griffith, who was in my favourite version of the Titanic story, A Night to Remember, as well as High Treason. So the French owner of an antique shop, Desis Heiss, has become disillusioned with society since his torture as a prisoner on Devil's Island. Since then, he has allowed his shop to become a front for criminal activity, and he himself is a receiver of stolen goods, some really rather high valued diamonds and such. But despite obviously being involved in criminal activity, he does keep a respectable front as this owner of the business. He's got a daughter. He usually is paying over the odds for people's items who need to sell it for their own personal needs and such. So even though he's obviously a criminal, he's also a respectable businessman at the same time. And yeah, even though this is far from the most original effort in terms of its basic plot, we've seen many of these kind of films where someone's a respectable person in high society or even just in general society, but they've got another life going on alongside that. But what this does in terms with that plot in terms of its themes, a great lead performance from Homolka, and effective characterization do ultimately contribute towards this being a highly engaging and overall satisfying effort. It is also well paced, has a really good supporting cast. The cinematography is on point. It uses its limited locales effectively. You can tell the sets. You can tell it's a street set, for instance, but it still is used effectively enough. And the score is decent as well. So yeah, a pretty damn good one, to be honest. It's nice to see that George King can do something outside of the horror genre, because obviously I've only seen the Todd Slaughter films from him before, and therefore they're far more within the horror and slash thriller kind of genre, whereas this is obviously more of a crime film. It does have some dramatic elements to it, but it's definitely just more of a crime film. And yeah, I like the way it ended as well. So we have a double-sided sleeve for the case itself. So we obviously have that artwork that I've shown you already, and then we have the alternate artwork on the other side. We also get a booklet with this release as well. So by the way, this is not a new release by any means. I think it was 2023 this actually came out. No, 2024. So not a bang up release or anything like that, but I do feel like I've got such a vast collection, and obviously there's plenty here that I haven't reviewed, because obviously I was buying, films long before I ever started doing this whole YouTube thing. So yeah, like I said before, if you want to see any of the see me review any of the films that I've got behind me or in my general collection, then do leave a comment. So yeah, inside the booklet we've got cast and crew, and then we've got A Shocker with a Heart of Gold by Steve Chibnall from 2024. So this was also under the title Code of Scotland Yard. I'm not sure why it was entirely called that. It makes it sound more like a police film more than a crime film, but there we go. Then we also have Sly Corner. So Edward Percy's play The Shop at Sly Corner was first produced in 1941 to both the UK and US under the title Play with Fire, with the revised version opening in 1945 at St Martin's Theatre in London, where it ran for 863 performances. Percy, or rather Edward Percy Smith, had become the Conservative MP for Ashford in 1943, and he held the seat until he stood down at the 1950 general election. So, yeah, went from a writer of plays to a politician. So, yeah, it's a nice little bit of a backstory there to the film itself. But whether or not this is entirely, faithful to the play itself, I don't know, because obviously I was long not born by that when that was airing. So then we got From Fluck to Dawes. So Diana Dawes was born Diana Mary Fluck in Swindon in 1931, as she wrote in the opening sentence of her 1960 autobiography, Swinging Doors. As far back as I can remember, which was when I was a very small girl, I had one burning desire. Aside from growing up as quickly as possible, I wanted to become a film star, and that she did. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, here we go with the alternate title as well. But first, we have the critical response for the film at the time, and it was warmly received by critics, all of whom were familiar with Percy's source play. As Kane, the reviewer for Variety, noted, the biggest box office asset of this picture is the fact that the play on which it is based has run in London's West End for over 2 years. So, yeah, clearly had a lot of publicity via that running, and yeah, there's the alternate title for it as well. Certainly prefer The Shop at Sly Corner as a title, to be honest, because Code of Scotland Yard, like I said, makes it sound like a more police procedural kind of film. And yeah, we also have the film itself. It has a new restoration from a 4K scan by Indicator themselves. Looks and sounds really rather good. While it also has the original mono audio. Audio commentary with film historian Josephine Botting and critic Fong Lee from 2024. Then you also have Muriel Pavlov in Conversation from 2009 that clocks in at 48 minutes long. So I didn't mention her in terms of the cast because I'm not saying anything else before. But the British actor discusses her career with Josephine Botting at London's National Film Theatre. Humour and Horror from 2024, clocking in at 35 minutes long. So film historian Jonathan Rigby delves into the life and career of prolific Austrian actor Oscar Homolka. Then we've got Image Gallery, which has promotional and publicity materials and new and improved English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. So yeah, this is a limited edition of 4,000 copies. So for the UK and US, not sure if that's 2,000 for each country or 4,000 for each, but yeah, clearly it's not sold as well as Indicator might have hoped. Given if it does only have 4,000 between two countries and it was still available on sale in this limited edition version this year, then yeah, it's probably not sold as well as he hoped. But I personally found this to be a really rather engaging and well executed effort, and one that is clearly quite underrated if it's not sold as well as they hoped. So, yeah, I do highly recommend seeking this one out if you haven't already, especially if you are into your 1940s crime films or you've enjoyed stuff from George King or the cast before, because they're all on form with this effort. So, yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. Like I said again before, any film that I've not reviewed already that I do own, I'll happily review for you on this channel. So yeah, leave a comment, and yeah, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, let's hear your thoughts on it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.